On that comment, here we go. Oh, I forgot to pull up my phone. Oh, I grab it real quick. I got to see the comments, of course.
I know, we could need to.
I had good intentions. It was just over there, like everything else that I.
Hello. Oh, thank you, Brittany. It is my birthday. I'm 41 today. I've officially crested and started going down the hill. So
My favorite thing about your birthday is that you're older than me.
I am glad that you are enjoying that fact because
It's all I got.
now I'm a whole year older than you
It
for
doesn't
the
take
next
long,
11 months.
right?
Ah, this is
Does
like
not take
my
long.
for like about a month and a half out of every year, my husband is looks like he's 6 years older than me, which feels like a larger cradle robbing situation
It
than
does.
yes.
Yeah. Oh well.
We were talking today, Lily was asking how long until you retire, and he has 19 years and I have 20, wait, what is it? 26? No, 24. But I was just like, that sounds so much
It's so
more.
much worse.
Like
Yeah.
that doesn't sound that's awful. So
I mean, we're almost closer to retirement than we are to when we learned how to drive.
I don't want to hear that either. I've known you more than half my life now.
Ouch.
Yes. Brittany says lies, just hitting your stride. Actually, I do feel like that. I had told Chantel,
Oh,
oh,
we're
what
hitting
was
our
it? Like
strides for
a week
sure.
or two ago, I was like, I feel like life gave me a midpoint in a novel, like when the business
Yep.
went kaplooey. And now I'm hitting the reward stage where good things are happening again.
All
So
the previous stages have laid themselves out to
yes,
be stair steps for the next thing.
yes. You had to get to the thing you kept doing the thing you wanted, and then it explodes in your
Crumbled.
face. And then you go to the thing that you actually need. So I feel like I'm in the thing I actually need stage of my life.
We won't be crying over sandwiches this year.
Hopefully not. I
I
mean,
mean, if we are, it's a different subject.
it is for sure. But yeah, we were definitely talking about that. Like a year and a half ago, we literally were having dueling anxiety attacks, having midnight sandwiches and chocolate cake in the middle of the Atlantic
That
Ocean.
was
And
the
now,
smallest chocolate cake.
and now
So
we have things
disappointing.
happening that hopefully we'll be telling you about really soon.
I
But they're
know we
very
have lots of
exciting.
things going on. Things are bubbling,
Chantel called
simmering.
me. What night was it even that you called me? It was
I
some
don't
night
know,
this
last
week.
night, the night before that, it kind of all
And
blurs together.
she's like, I have this idea. And I was like, I think we can make this happen. And so I reached out to the person who could make it happen. And she's like, yes, I will figure
Exclamation
some
point.
things out, but yes, let's figure this out. And I was like, cool.
And then we told
And
our
so,
husbands, and they were like, nah. We're like,
yeah, they don't know.
no.
No, mine is like on board now.
Well, it's not
So
that mine's not on board. He's just like, it was kind of like when I met him and he was pre med, and I was like, sure you are, sweetheart. It's a liberal arts college. Everybody's pre med.
I
And then
feel
he
like
goes and
though,
becomes a doctor.
so the thing that we're working on, which we can't really say yet because it's not
No,
official, but it takes like a year and a half between concept to actually like having finished product. And that's just like it cannot be rushed. Like that's just how long it takes to do the thing. And so we're excited.
at
And
least.
as soon as we can tell you about the thing, we're going to tell you about the thing. But
But we
we're
can't
very
tell you
excited.
anything.
Yes. Thank you, Debbie. Thank
Sorry,
you for
that was
wishing me a happy
very
birthday.
like underwhelming for you guys.
I know. I'm
We can't
sorry.
tell you about the thing. Here's the thing, but we can't
I
tell you
know.
about the
We're
thing.
Chantel
Come
had
on
a
our
fabulous
cruise.
idea.
We'll keep it secret until the
Yeah.
Mediterranean.
Sh Probably before then, but
Probably.
Chantel had a great idea and I had the connection and we might actually be able to execute Chantel's great idea is the
Well,
exciting
I
part.
appreciate
So,
that you're giving me credit. I feel like it was a
yes.
dueling idea here, but
No, you were the one who was like, it's 10 years behind. We need to do something about that. And I was like, you and I could be the one to do something about that.
it is 10 years behind. But again,
Yes.
this makes no sense to anybody.
None whatsoever. We want to modernize something significantly. No, we can't give deets, unfortunately, not
No.
yet. But
Hi, Debbie. Let's see. AB's here. Hey, AB.
I
Oh my
do think
goodness.
we're going to be
Brittany.
able to announce. the cruise after Mediterranean within the next week or so, though. I do
So
think
there you
that's
go.
coming
There's an
soon.
accidental spoiler right there.
There will be some news coming. We're planning another cruise for 2027. That is also going to be super cool. But for right now, we're going to talk about our Mediterranean cruise
And
because
this is
we're
why
a
we've like,
broken record.
yes, we've hit our midpoint and we're on our way to like branching out. Big things are happening.
All right, so I'm putting the link to the Mediterranean cruise on
Bear
the
with us
top
all. We have
part.
to tell you all about
We
it. And of
do.
course, you know, we're super excited about
We
it
are
because
super
we
excited
are
about
not
it.
bringing husbands.
There was a whole conversation between Chantel, Ray, John, and I. And Chantel is like, "Do you want me to prove that I have a husband?" And she sent a picture, and he's like, "No." We're like, "Oh yeah,
No, you
he
don't have
knows
a
he's married to
husband.
me. He knows."
And then, and then what did I say? Something along the lines of, no, Stephanie is my platonic wife and
Yes.
John is my non-platonic husband.
And they were dying laughing at that one. I use that phrase with Reba too. And uh we were talking about you at Riley Blake. So Reba
Ooh.
Worotikin is the director of boutiques at
Hmm.
Riley Blake, and she's new to the role. She used to have her own boutique fabric company,
She's
and
fantastic and
she's
is
fantastic. We
killing
worked
the game out
together.
there.
We worked together a decade ago, very well. And so she's the one who asked me if I wanted to design for Riley Blake, and I said, "Say less." And when do you need artwork? And so
Yes.
that's
And
kind of
you made
how
it work.
that went out. Yes. I'm working actually on my second collection now. I need to actually do that this weekend. I keep saying I'm going to do it and I need to actually do it.
You don't
Um,
do it.
I
I'm just going to send you things and be like,
I
here's your collection.
I have all the ideas. I need to actually do them. And I now have a
Child.
11-year-old who has absconded to the basement and is going to be watching Stranger Things without her sister watching. Avatar. Last week was hilarious.
Oh,
She was watching this episode and she was going to do one more before bed. And all of a sudden, I'm not hearing the
what's going
show because
on?
she had headphones on. I'm just hearing, "Go to the light." No, don't go to the light. Oh God. And I'm just like, I know exactly what
It's
scene.
just like that when I'm
And it's
listening to my
hilarious.
daughter watch TV.
Ah, but yes, we were talking about you and we were talking about rooming on a cruise. And I was like, "Oh yeah, Chantel and I, we've known each other forever. She's my platonic soulmate," and she was laughing too. So
Yeah, it's just it is what it is.
yeah.
We can't change what it is.
You sent me this week some challenge. Like if you needed to,
Oh yeah.
what was it? Survive a was how many
I
days
think
was
it
it?
was like you get $10 million to split with somebody, but you have to stay in a room without anything. They'll send you in
No
food,
entertainment. Yeah, you just get your
nothing in
food
there.
and that's
On
it.
10 days, we got this. 30
I know.
days, I still feel like we could do that.
I think we could. I think you and I would just be each other's entertainment. And I would come out of it with like 10 million book ideas, and we would have about
And
five
nothing to
different
write on
fabric
though, which would
collections.
be like ridiculous. We would be like the Queen's Gambit, like making things on the ceiling in our
I
minds.
literally plotted out my books that way in the middle of the night when I had insomnia a year ago. So
Yeah, I know you did.
I can
That's why I was
hold
like,
this.
you're like
I
the
can hold
Queen's
this.
Gambit.
I can
You're
hold
just
this in
like
my head. I
the
can
whole movie
see
up
it.
there.
I can just see. That's how I was with fabric too. Like I
I
would
can
look at
see
it
too.
and I would just eventually it would tell me what it wants to be. So
She listens to fabric, guys. She
I
hears
do. Oh,
voices.
speaking of fabric, we
Ooh,
said we were going to
yay!
talk about this.
Segue.
Segue. Let me get it.
Hi, Suzanne. I don't remember if I said hi or not yet, but I feel like I did not.
So we posted on Quilt Addicts Anonymous and then all the socials, where Chantel and I did a live fabric poll, and then we like edited it down so that you weren't like hearing all the insanity. But you've got in our heads as we decided what was going to work with what, and we were doing it with digital samples because a lot of you guys now maybe don't have a local fabric shop that you can go to. And
Hmm.
then you have to figure out how are you going to make this work? What's going to work and
Or
so
you end
we,
up like me, you've bought everything so that you can make it work at home. But
yeah,
working with digital samples would have been a lot cheaper.
just slightly.
I
So,
kind of bought out part of a quilt store that was closing, so don't worry about me. It worked
more than
out.
one. You did more than one. You did mine and somebody else's. This is a two-time process. Maybe third time will be the charm for you.
I have
Um,
no idea. I hope
who knows?
not. I just,
But so we're working with Riley Blake Boutiques. They have Expression Boutiques, and we're doing a Mediterranean tile inspired pattern. So
hmm.
Chantel, why don't you talk about your center medallion? And one
Oh,
thing I heard
pieces.
that sometimes people have been turned off of doing quilting cruises because they come back with no less than 500,000 UFOs. And that is not how our
Mm-mm.
projects work. We design a project that you can finish on board if you are a efficient sewer,
You will
meaning
have
you're
all
not,
the tools to take
yes,
it home if you need
yeah,
to. If you're efficient with your time, you
you
could
can get it
finish it.
done.
And if you choose to just take the information and have another UFO, that's
That's fine
okay
too.
too.
Like you're never pressured to like finish, but I
Mm-mm.
always make sure that my students at least have the skills they need to finish at home. So we finished a block, maybe not all the blocks, but we finished a block. So that way you can do it when you get home. You know,
Yes,
we've put two blocks together, so we know the tips of making sure that the points end up where they're supposed to be.
right.
Um,
You go home with the knowledge to be able to apply it to the rest of the project or to a new project if it's just not your jam when you get
yeah.
to it. Um, she's going to be doing the foundation paper piecing, and I'm going to do the English paper piecing. And
And
English
it's
paper
one
piecing,
project. It's
it is
one
one
project.
project. I think we'll do it in such a way that the English paper piecing, so that people aren't too worried, because people are like, oh, I'm going to be hand sewing a lot. It's 12 by 12.
Yeah, it's small. You're making
It's
a block.
small. We're talking in the evenings after class, you'll be able to put it more or less together. So this is the essentially the piece that you're going to be working with. This and a square. And you'll get more details about this eventually, but essentially these go together in crosses. So it's going to look a lot like tile work that you would see definitely in both Italy and in Spain.
We're pulling
I
the
mean, you
color
can probably
palette
see it,
from
imagine it.
Spain because
Yes.
Spain is rainbow.
Spain is rainbow and versus the blue and white that you're going to get a lot of. So you're going to have pieces kind of coming together. Like, does that show up well?
Decently enough.
Yeah, decently enough. It's hard to put them together. I'm waiting for fabric.
It should be there
So,
tomorrow, hopefully.
yes. So you're going to end up with crosses that you're able to essentially make very cool kaleidoscopes going on in the middle. And so we're going to go over all those details of how to
So
do it.
one of the fabrics that we picked was this one
Hmm.
because we wanted to have a very clear repeat that Chantel would be able to teach you how to fussy cut out this flower so that it
So it
looks
kind
like
of
this to
goes all
start,
around.
but yeah, but then it like connects, this flower connects to this one and it kind of does its
Let me
thing. So
grab a sample.
instead of having four separate like this, there would be like coming together at the center. And so sometimes that means you end up taking more fabric than you think you would because your fabric kind of ends up, actually, I have a Swiss cheese sample. Let me go grab it. We'll both be
We're
gone for a
we're
moment.
both leaving, but I'm coming right back.
Oh,
So
good.
I'm going to show you.
Oh, God. There is a giant, hairy, dead, thankfully dead spider in this basket. I'm going to
Well,
pretend he doesn't
so
exist.
much for cleaning the floors.
I didn't do that this week, clearly. This is what can look like when you're done fussy cutting.
Yes, Swiss cheese
It
fabric
looks like
is
this.
in. So, depending on the
I'm gonna need my
orientation,
husband to deal with this spider. I don't even want to be near it when it's dead. It is that disgusting.
and I'm
Ugh.
here holding my beautiful thing, and you're like, you're freaking out over there. So, this is actually a pretty cool example of how it it's nothing too complicated, really. It looks complicated, but if you cover everything up, it's just a piece with that I cut out that has the same pattern again and again and again. and
And it
it
kind of creates
creates,
its own fabric.
and then when you add to it, it kind of creates its own thing going on with it. So I have multiples of these because I have taught other things.
Hmm.
Um, this circle was not in the fabric. This is where it comes together,
Yeah.
and it just kind of made that. And then I had one where I did kind of a rotating flower around the center.
And so the technique that Chantel's going to teach you is how to fussy cut that and then how to
Mhm.
actually accomplish it sewing it together.
And here's the
So,
thing, these pieces are pretty small. These are much bigger.
mhm.
So we're, and bigger helps out in that you still have to do a little more stitching, but you have a lot more ground that you're covering at the same time. So it really works out a lot
You
better
can
and a
kind
lot
of
faster.
keep your momentum going. Like it
You don't
feels like
have to
you've gotten a
stop
little
and
more
cut
done.
thread kind of thing.
So we did a poll and this, let's see if I can do it without dropping everything.
Oh yeah,
I
you
know,
done it.
isn't this gorgeous together? It's fabulous.
I'm really
Absolutely
glad to see it
fabulous.
in person because it was fun when we were looking at it
I know,
online,
it
but to
looks
see that
so
in
fun.
person is delicious.
I know. And then there's a blue, I probably will not be able to get the blue background. Yeah, well,
Lay it
maybe I
on your
can flip
sweater
it
up
over.
here by your chin.
I do have a shelf that can work here. The girls can keep it handy. So here is our fabric. It looks very
Oh,
black
it's
right
so
now,
good. It does
th-
look a little black, but you can see the
but it's blue.
variance in there.
It's definitely blue. And we're very excited about this color palette. And I
This is
have
going to be good.
entirely too much for what I need. But we can split the
I,
spoils when it's all done.
yeah, exactly. And we will make things out of it. I have more than one sample that needs to be made just to show how you can vary your ability to fussy cut. So,
Well, and we have things like stripes that you'll be able to show how to put those
oh,
together.
stripes are fun. They look so difficult. Like, how do you get a stripe to line up? English paper piecing is it's
Not
like a
bad.
card trick. As long as you know how to play the card trick, you look very, very smart.
So, one thing I wanted to point out, so we were not so sure about the green for this floral. We picked it because we needed the floral and it was the brightest, like fussy cuttable thing that we
You
could
can
find.
see it's a little bit more of a celery green
It is. Whereas,
versus the more limeish green.
but
It looks
because
good.
we have variation in the green, so like this is
Mhm.
kind of in between these two greens, it's okay. Like it's if I were to take this out and just put it by it, that looks awful. But
That looks a little
because
much.
we have more, it works. So
And so
sometimes
we,
a good
yeah, we talked
trick,
about that in the video too, that
yeah,
it like communicates, like it tells the next color story, what's available for it. Sorry to interrupt you.
you're fine. But one of my tricks, when I was getting first starting to learn fabric was that the more of something you had, the less it mattered if they all worked together. So, like if you're doing a Christmas quilt and it's all your Christmas scraps, you want as many different kinds of red as you can get because then it doesn't matter if this red doesn't exactly work with this red because this one's really tomatoey orange and this one is really kind of more burgundy. Like it
Right.
doesn't matter. The other
The
thing,
yellow department over here is a good example
yeah,
where you either have to stick to one or you want to stick to 20 of them
yeah.
because otherwise it's not reading as just yellow anymore. It's yellow and that one mustard color you had.
Or like even let's look at these. So we have
Ooh,
this pink.
I haven't got to hold these guys, so this
I
is
know
very
they're
exciting.
on their way to your house. So we have this pink, which speaks to these two, which really go very well together.
Yeah.
But this one here has elements of pink in it, but wouldn't necessarily go with this one if these two didn't exist. And then this purple works with some of the purpley tones in here, and it works with some of the purpley tones down in here, but it wouldn't necessarily make sense with just these two. So the more you have to go from one to another, the better your overall look is going to be.
Yes.
EPP cannot be sewn by machine. So what we're doing is we're teaching two types of foundation piecing.
Well,
E-
foundation and then
yeah, yeah.
English paper
But both of
piecing.
them are template based. It's just a different way of using a template.
Now,
So
I have seen people do the Y seams. Now, the big part about English paper piecing is that the reason so many people do it by hand is because of these seams. Like you don't see a lot of people English paper piecing squares together
no, you wouldn't do that.
because you can do that with a machine easily. But what you have here is you create, let's see, this one's a better example. You create these situations where it's all come together and then you have these Y seams. And in order to get that precision, you really need to get in there and do it by hand because you're folding your fabric around to be able to get those points. Now, it
I
doesn't take as long as you think, which is kind of once you get your hand kind of used to doing it, um, it's surprisingly efficient.
One of the things that I found with English paper piecing, and this is maybe because I spent so many years creating quilts at speed,
Hmm.
is that I really enjoyed the ability to slow down and be mindful about it. Like,
Hmm.
especially with fussy cutting. Like, a lot of my patterns, they're meant to use every single inch of that fat quarter, which doesn't leave you room to fussy cut out an owl or a motif or whatever. You have to deliberately buy extra fabric in order to make that happen. But with the English paper piecing, because I know I'm taking a little bit more time with that,
Hmm.
I'm far more likely to invest in making sure I can get like really cool shapes and
Yeah,
really cool fussy cut. I
it's
have some
making
hexes like
sure that
that.
you can get these to come together. I mean, this is part of a butterfly, actually. Somehow, I'm trying to figure out. Oh, here. This is part of the wings of a butterfly, and that's its head. And those are the antenna. And this is the wing, and these are the antenna. Can you kind of see?
Hmm.
But the
So,
way that you cut it, it ends up just making a very cool shape. And you're building on shapes.
so
Wait,
I am not a scrap saver. Once I've
no.
had my experience with the fabric, I'm done with it. I can go to somebody else's house if there's any left. But I started because of Chantel cutting enough to make a hexie. So as like a scrapbook piece of the project I made. So like this is one where I fussy cut out all of those owls
It's
and
like
they
a
look
best
super
of. It's
cool. Yeah, basically.
it's like the
Um,
trailer of the movie.
Now this one I was not really specific about, except to make sure that I was getting those um rectangle type things in.
I
I
like
think
how
this
you
is
chose to do it
actually,
not circular around, but in the same graphic direction on that last one.
I don't know that that was intentional.
It's
See,
cool
we're
though.
just gonna take it. This was the same fabric, but I made sure to
Pull
grab
them
all the
together.
swirls. And this one, this one I did specifically get the swirls to kind of go around. Um,
Hmm.
and I didn't fussy cut it. I've had very little of this fabric left. So I just kind of aimed for what I could and went from there. But it just can really create some very fun, interesting shapes. And it's all the little bits that you really love
The
about
circles are
it.
very cool because it almost makes an extra loop around.
It does. It's really very fun. So these are some of the ones that I've done.
And the
And I
goal
have
is
a
never to
whole bin
finish.
full.
No, no, English paper
Someday,
piecing, you can finish. I
dude,
swear to it.
I have
I
40 more years to finish all my quilts, Chantel.
I have
At
a
least,
ton of pieces
hopefully,
up
God
there
willing.
that are all parts of one or two or three different quilts. Will they ever get done? Yeah, I maybe, you know, and that's never been the goal for me. When you're doing it, it's more the yeah, what Brittany said, it's relaxing and repetitive and you can do it in front of the television. You don't need to have
Hmm.
a machine. My favorite thing about cruising is that in the solarium, in the bar, in your bed, wherever you want to be, it's like how people like knit. and knit
Hmm.
and knit, or crochet and crochet and crochet. You can do it in meetings and things like that, and you get a surprising amount done
In a short amount of time.
in a short amount of time because you can
Like
pick it up at any time. I have a
you're
whole
probably
quilt that I've only done
faster.
on airplanes.
You're probably faster, but to me, this is like maybe 45 minutes an hour per one of
I might
these.
be faster, but at the
Yeah.
same time, by the time I get started and get distracted, because that's very me, I am already, lost myself and come back. Or I'm in an audiobook and then I just stop, which is very funny because I'll be reading in my head because I'm listening to an audiobook and I'll get really into it and then I'll just freeze. And then like a few minutes later, I'm like, oh yes, I'm sewing. Yes,
So
indeed.
I am not a person who sits still well. Like I
No, me
can't
neither.
just sit and watch a show. I'm not capable of it has to be really good for me to just sit and watch the show.
I'm a
And
two object person.
yeah,
I have to be doing two things at a time. I'm listening to music and I'm sewing. I'm listening to a book and I'm cleaning. I'm calling Stephanie and I'm doing the dishes.
yeah,
Like,
we we often body double. We'll be like, "Hey, you want to clean?" And then we like, "Yes," and we put our headphones
yes.
on and then we like clean for like 2 hours straight while we're talking about nonsense. And
And we have no idea what we accomplished. And at the end, we're like, wow, I haven't seen that, area of wherever it is in so long.
my
And it
husband came
doesn't
into
feel
my
so
bedroom.
bad.
He came into my bedroom the last time we did it and go, well, our bedroom. We obviously share a
Yeah.
bedroom. But he's like, I can see the floor. And I was like, I love you too,
Uh-huh.
dear. Thanks so
I
much for
love
that.
you.
But
I can
like,
see the floor.
but like, this is something that I can do while I'm watching TV or I'm sitting around or whatever. Um, I don't always love bringing it to activities where I have the kids because it's sometimes to me a few more pieces that I want to deal with. Um,
Hmm.
but
I don't bring anything important
yeah,
at that point. If I'm aiming for a more perfect look on something, I don't do it. But one thing I do like to bring is my coffin hexes
yes.
when I'm on a plane with turbulence and things like that. I don't care so much. I'm just trying to make enough flowers to basically put them on blocks. And
Yeah,
that's another cool thing about English paper piecing is that it's easily appliqued
two other
onto
things.
blocks instead of making the whole block out of it. And I think in this situation, you don't have to be worried like, oh my gosh, what if I don't like it? And then I'm stuck with this project that has the center block that I don't want to do. I think that it wouldn't be hard to find an alternative
No, you could
12 and a
find
half inch block.
any 12-inch finished block and it you can pop that sucker in the center and that's fine.
And
Um,
that's totally fine. But
we
foundation
won't be
paper
offended.
piecing, the
That's
confusing thing for a lot of
it's
people
kind
is
of like
that
sewing by number is
it
what
is.
it's
It's
kind
like
of
a
like.
connect the dot situation.
And it takes like the first three, I think, are challenging
Yeah.
because you have to figure out how am I arranging this? Where exactly is the fabric going to be when it's pushed over? And how tiny is that stitch supposed to be? And and then once you get those things down, then you're mostly okay. From then
There's a
on out.
learning curve every single time you start doing it again. There's that first moment where every time, not
Where
just
you're looking at it and you're like,
and you're like,
wait,
is
how do I
that?
do this again?
And you're
And
flipping it over and you're like, wait,
but it allows you to get the most amazing
I'll grab a piece real quick.
toys. I have actually one right down here. I didn't piece this one. I had a staff member piece it, and I still haven't quilted it. I need to do that someday. Um, this was when Tula Pink originally came out with the holiday homies. And
Oh, I
so
love that. I bought
all
that
of
from you.
these stars are paper pieced. All of the ornaments are paper pieced. And
Foundation
what it
paper piece.
yeah, foundation paper piece. And it really just allows you to create really cool shapes that you would not be able to do on a home sewing machine. Can you
And you don't have
imagine?
to cut accurately, which is beautiful.
Can you imagine trying to sew this teeny tiny piece onto something, it would be
I was going to
impossible.
show my little piece that I have here. I still have the paper on the backside. So obviously, this is a road going into a sunset, unless you're like, wait, what was that? Just so you know, it's a road going into a sunset. But you can still see the paper on the backside.
Mhm.
So it was essentially a fold by number situation, trim.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. I'm not proficient in foundation
And
paper
one
piecing.
thing that's important to show, so hold that back up.
The side or the other side?
Other side. So you can see where her seams are. So that whole center trapezoid, I think I
Mm-hmm.
said that one right, is one paper piece section. And so that
Mm-hmm.
was done. And you probably work from the center out on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then go ahead and open it up.
This was
There's
two
two on each side. And
that was
so,
added to this.
yep. And so you are a lot of times working like that wasn't all one rectangle that she did.
No. And it's like a paint by number. It's really not like you figure it out. It's like, go ahead and do this portion, do this portion, do this portion, combine portions together. Like, you
So what
read a
I'm going to be
recipe.
doing is this weekend is taking actual Mediterranean tile work. I found one that I really am inspired by, and I see all over the place when you're like Googling Mediterranean tile. And I have to figure out how to turn that into a paper piece block where it makes sense logically to go 1 1 1 because
You
you
have to
can't really do a
deconstruct
Y
it.
seam there either. It always has to be the short seam and then a full seam on the next. And so that's something that
Right.
I'll
Like
be
this
figuring out.
here is three different pieces, four different pieces of the fabric to make this red block.
Hmm.
This is two different pieces of red fabric to make this red portion here.
And there's a tiny little red piece so that it looks like kind of a mountain.
Yes.
So those are all the
This will get
things.
done eventually one day. This was done by Baruska. I can't remember her last name. She's the one that won QuiltCon last year.
Yeah.
She is an amazing
Well,
paper
and you
piecer.
can, I mean, there's so many options. So many. Actually, I have a Carol Doak book. Let
Yeah,
me
Carol
grab that.
Doak is one of the
She was
I
kind
have a couple
of,
of her old books. I have a thing for old books.
I think one of these is signed.
Ooh. Oh yeah, because you took the
I
class.
took the class. I did. I took the class from her. They
She's the
both might
one
be
that when
signed.
you go to buy foundation paper, if
Like
you
it's
want to
her
print it
foundation.
yourself, it's
Yeah.
her paper.
So
Um,
this is the class I took from her, and this one is signed by her. And like, look at those blocks. They are phenomenal. And it would be near impossible to do any of those shapes without foundation paper piecing. And like this one was really
it's like
fun. This one,
magic tricks. It's like knowing how to do the trick is the key to making the trick look real. And in
so
these cases, having the paper recipe essentially
this one came
allows
with
you
a
to do it.
CD, which is no longer, a thing that you can even
Ooh,
really put in a computer. But like you
I
can
have
make
a video cassette for one of
fancy.
my books. Oh yeah.
So like you can do Christmas ornaments out of that. And I
That's a
have.
good
I've made
example, actually, that
quilted
Christmas
Christmas
tree,
trees.
because it's simple enough to understand the step by step. So I'm sure you'll start easy and kind of work your way up to blocks that are a little bit more challenging in thought.
Apparently she broke her leg and that's how she ended up with 300 blocks
That
in
seems
this one.
accurate. I've
Yeah,
never heard anything more
sh-
accurate in my
she was
life.
she was just bored and she couldn't travel and so she made all the blocks. I did one of these for my sister's wedding. The fun thing with this is that it will it tells you how much to cut and what, but you can also enlarge it. Um,
And how many percentage and things like
yeah,
that to enlarge to get the next
this one's
level.
fun. And this one is a good example of showing kind of how it works. Like you start with your one up top, and then where's two? This one looks like two. Yeah.
Right. So
So
you're
two,
making your
then
log
three,
cabin.
4, 5, 6, and it just goes. You're like building on it, but in the end, you get this. And that's really cool. So if you've ever seen like a pineapple quilt block, that
Oh, they're
is
so cool. Yeah.
best done with English paper piecing.
And the thing is that it looks incredibly difficult. You're like, I can't do that. After you do one of them, particularly if you're doing multiples of the same thing, your brain just kind of catches up to
It
it.
just goes.
Now,
And
don't
you
get too
can,
comfortable. No foundation paper piecing after 10 p.m. That is a hard Stephanie and
oh
Chantel
yeah,
rule.
that is a hard, that has been a rule since I was in my 20s and I had functioning brain cells past 10 p.m. So that is probably
It
also
might even be
something,
9 o'clock now.
it's something I wouldn't do on a live, for example, because you have to think.
This you can do with a few cocktails in you, and you know what? You don't. It's fine.
I cannot, maybe this is the one I did.
You know, I became a bit of an expert at doing this because I was breastfeeding and I couldn't sit at my sewing machine. And so the one thing that I thought I would never do, hand sewing,
I'm
became the
impressed.
one thing that I just could not stop doing.
I'm incredibly impressed that you can hand sew and breastfeed a child at the same time.
Oh yeah, no, there's a reason why, I will go into details about that later. You can talk about it later. But clearly the one child, um, she had a favorite side because I would hand sew like holding her in this one position. And so having her in this hand was like not the same. And so if you're a woman and you're here, you understand I had like great supply on one side and not on the other because I would literally like have her head over here and I would hand sew.
This was not a problem for me that I encountered. Ah, let's see. Foundation paper piecing requires thinking, and you talk to yourself for reassurance that you're doing it right. You do, but you can also like I batch sewed stuff. Like I did a foundation paper pieced signature quilt for my sister's wedding, and I had something like 80 blocks to make, and I like batch sewed that sucker, and it was
I have a book about that.
it totally worked. It absolutely worked.
About batch
Did
sewing, like how to essentially chain piece
mhm.
foundation paper piecing.
Did
That's
did
next level.
I not want a foundation paper piece for a really long time after I finished that? Yes, for sure. Um, do I recommend recruiting your husband to help you remove the papers when you're in the middle of an argument? Definitely not. This is not the time because you're stuck
Sounds
there together for
personal.
a while. Don't do that. Um, the amount of cussing when you trim is what you're supposed to keep.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
skipped that one.
I will definitely bring a significant amount of extra papers on board because there
We're gonna
will be
be friends with
times
the printers. Yeah.
where you will uh cut something you're not supposed to. You gotta start over. And that
As long
happens,
as it's
it's
not
okay.
you and it's just paper, you just have to remember that it wasn't so bad. But man, it's annoying.
I actually
The freezer
entertain them.
paper method is kind of fun.
Entertain them
I
for a
haven't been
second.
able to
I'll be right
successfully do
back.
it. I've tried the foundation paper piecing freezer paper, but it tends to shift. But then again, the stuff that I have foundation paper piece has been very fussy and little. I think on bigger blocks it works a lot better. Um, but then you just go wheep, and it peels off so nice and easy. And I love that idea, but I don't know if it would end up working for me in the long term.
All right.
Where did you go,
I'm
Stephanie?
coming. I had to go all the way up to my bedroom.
He's like, did you go to Lenny or?
I did not go to the Lenny. I'm going to turn off my audio. Going to Lenny, by the way, for all of you is
It's
code for I gotta
code.
go to the bathroom. Um, so foundation paper piecing. This is a mug rug.
That's really cute.
It is from my pattern hanging garden. So you can like do a whole, wall hanging table run or whatever with it, which I have the original with shell Rummel fabric hanging in my um dining room. But I was able to fussy cut the center, and then I just picked from like our fat eighth bin at the shop, and I picked colors that worked with my center. So these are all different types of fabrics. I think I've got some Allison glass in here. That's an ombre. It's covered in dog hair. Cape. This was some QT. Um, and then some more ombre going around there. But it was really fun. And this one, it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 situation. So you have your one, and then you just make your way around. And then you go a little bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger. So it's a nice way to start because you don't have too many things to go
Working
over.
parts, yeah.
So I think usually what we do before the cruise is we kind of have like a primer to get you guys ready. So
Hmm.
Chantel's gonna, we've talked about, it's not final yet, but we were gonna do like just doing a hexie, online
Yeah.
in a live Zoom.
So you
And
kind of
then,
get the idea of how to stitch, what you're
mhm,
putting on what kind of needle. How
yeah,
are we even getting this fabric attached to a piece of, and we will recover it
we will.
briefly, on the cruise. It's not like a
And
big
then
problem.
we'll do one of these too, probably, where you have a 6-inch block. You can turn it into a mug rug when you're done.
Hmm.
And then we'll do the more complicated stuff on there.
You're not graded on your homework.
No, definitely not. AB
Ooh,
says, when I think of the graphics you might put in your book, I can totally see you design an FPP quote for it. I mean, maybe someday. FPP, the reason why I don't use it a lot in my quilt designs is because it is a whole different situation when it comes to pattern writing. Whole different situation. Like when I do this pattern, I am literally going to have my overhead camera on shooting in 4K so that I can pull screen grabs of every single step, or at least the first four, so that you can like see what's happening.
right.
Um, and then the rest is a lot of repetitiveness from there because it's a lot of flip but like from a graphic perspective, it's really challenging because like when you flip it over, you need to like make sure there's a transparency on it so that way you can tell it's the wrong side. And it's a whole more complicated ball game from a pattern writing
Now,
perspective.
luckily, when we're making ours, we're using batiks, which don't have a front or a back. So we
But you
have a
still need to
little bit.
know that
You
you're
still
looking
have
at
to
the back of
know,
the paper.
but when we mess up, we won't look like we messed up.
True, that's accurate. Brittany's doing a 24-inch Storm at Sea block. That's another really great one that people do a lot of freezer paper. I did a New York Beauty with curves with foundation paper piecing, and that was really helpful. But one of the things I'm looking at this week, and the brain is noodling on it, and I've lost my phone, so I can't show it to you. Um, but I found a
You
tile
found
work
your phone.
pattern that I did find the phone. That's always a good thing. Um, you gotta scroll past the myriad of things that we send each other.
It is a thing,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous. It's like lots of memes and silly things.
And things that wouldn't make sense to anybody else reading it.
Definitely not. I will, however, show my picture. It was 100 day of school this week, and so the kids
Oh,
dressed up as old ladies. And I'm showing you this because Lily's cute, and also I painted a quilt on my front door. So
you did.
I did.
Do you have
Thankfully,
Hazel's picture?
I do. We could show that.
Yeah, Hazel also had her 100th day of school. And that little bag there, it's really hard to see, is a frog that they turned into a handbag. It's a real frog.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That needs to go in your fancy animal bathroom.
It probably should, but it's a handbag. I
To make
bought
it
it for my
hang.
mother-in-law as a gag, and I actually ended up loving it so much because it's hilarious that I never gave it to her.
Okay, so this is the tile work pattern that I keep seeing everywhere. Let me see if I can get the full one. That one is more of a blog one. Um, this one. Go. Bigger.
Bigger.
Yes, I will accept the cookies.
I accept the cookie. I always accept the cookies. Because the
Okay,
cookies be tasty.
so this one is watermarked, but you guys will get the point. So, like, this is an example of actual tile work. It's a pretty common pattern. Am I going to get this complicated with what we're doing? No, probably not. We're probably going to
No,
do
it's
like an
going to be more a
inside
play
center.
on these
Yeah,
kind of shapes.
Um, I might play with some of the other things to put
The
in like a border
stars.
or something. But it's the shape that I'm looking for, and when I go through it, it might not be visible. But I have to figure out like where are my lines going to be so that I can logistically put this together. So like that's my project for the week is figure out how am I logistically going to incorporate this in the four corners of the quilt because we're going to put Chantel's on point in the center, have a nice stripy border going around it,
Right.
and then you're going to get corners. And the corners will be, you know, Stephanie having fun with foundation paper piecing.
Yeah.
So and then it'll look like you have this center medallion tile that is going to be a fun memory of your project, of
Hmm.
your cruise. It will
Yes.
be inspired by the region we're traveling to in the Mediterranean. And it's you come home with two new quilting skills that you can use and apply to the next project you want to try out.
Right.
Or
Or you would
not if you
advance them
decide
at
you hate
least.
it, but you now you know how to do it.
If all else
So
fails, you at least got to hang, and that was fun to,
that would be fun
Mhm.
for sure.
You meet new people. It's very fun to at least, some people are like, I don't want to meet new people. No, these people are worth meeting.
They're worth meeting.
These are your type of people.
Like I felt so bad. I have been my youngest daughter's friend from school is at a different school this year. And so I tracked
Mhm.
down Mama on Facebook and was trying to set up a play date, but it was just busy. It was around the holidays and play dates for a 5, 6-year-old
Not
require
a
me
priority.
require me hanging out with said mother,
Well, that's true. Yes.
who I
But
don't
again, it's
know.
like you're not going to
Yeah.
make something happen the third week of December for a play date, right?
Well, and like I don't know mom. I don't know if I'm going to vibe with mom. I don't know if we're just going to be friends
That's
because our
true.
kids are friends, or if this is going to be like the most awkward 2 hours of my life. I don't know this, and
It's your
so
time too.
yeah, and so I just hadn't made it a priority. And then we had our birthday party last weekend, and she was able to come, and Lily literally hugged me and cried. She was so happy. She's like, I'm crying. I'm like, sometimes it happens when you get really happy. And then I felt horrible because I'm like, oh my gosh, you like miss this
I've kept
child
these
so
guys
much.
apart.
And you're so happy. And I could have done this 2 months ago. And like, oh,
I know. You
it's
can't
just
feel
so much
guilty about it, but
easier.
at the same time, you learn from it and you
I
kind
know.
of,
I mean, like my 11-year-old, a kid comes over every Sunday and they just fart around in the basement and I don't have to do anything about it. Like, that's easy.
I like that.
We're not to that point yet with the 6-year-old though.
That's fair.
And like I wouldn't drop my kid off and go at somebody's house at 6, you know. It's a totally different situation.
Yeah, it's not the 80s. You can't.
No,
Like you
definitely
having
not.
dinner at so and so's house? Cool,
Be home when the lights come on.
right? And if you're home after dark, keep your
Don't wake
whistle.
me up.
Yeah.
Don't wake me up. I'm going to bed. I gotta work in the morning.
It's
Oh.
fine. They're fine.
All right. Should we talk about the sewing room reset challenge that we both failed at this week?
I didn't fail. I have a walkway.
I mean, I have a walkway, but I had a walkway. It didn't get any better. And now I've
I
discovered Monster Spider instead floor, so I'm less excited about doing this now.
Well, that's fair. I cleaned up all my English paper piecing stuff and I got it somewhat sorted. Some of it is on the counter now, which means that it needs to get sorted and put away. But it was one of those weeks where
It,
it's always one of those weeks, let's be honest. I
it is.
tried.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a catch-up week. So if you either got something messy a little bit, or you didn't do anything this week, or maybe another week, it's catch up. So week one
We're
was
doing our
clear
surfaces.
surfaces, 2 to 3 surfaces, clean it up. If it has a home that's easy to go to, put it there. If it's not, put it in a bin to be dealt with
Doom
later.
bin.
Yes, doom bin.
Then deal
Week
with your
two,
doom bin.
now that doesn't mean everything. If it's something like, I need to fold this fabric and put it away, but I didn't want to fold it and
Hmm.
put it away when I was clearing surfaces. That's the type of stuff you deal with.
It's
Um,
almost like you put it into doom bin too. to be
Yeah.
processed in the future for the sewing room. The initial what you're looking for here is like, I have a drill that is my husband's that should go up in the garage.
I had
That should go to
5
the garage.
or 6 packages from 6 months ago that needed to be opened sitting on my cutting table that I couldn't use. Like, this is the type
Good
of thing
job.
that we're going for. I know I can use it now. It's fabulous.
I have a
My
mannequin
husband used
head.
it. My
I
husband
don't
used it
know.
to cut your fabric for you.
Aha!
I was like, you're qualified. You're going to do this because I have stuff to do and you're off. And he's like, okay, fine. And, but
That was
anyway,
sweet.
it was very sweet of him.
I hope he gave
And
me like good hearty cuts.
he did. You got fat quarters, and I sent you half yards of anything that was fussy cuttable. So you should have plenty for what you need to do.
I'm excited.
And then we were supposed to clear floors. And I did not clear
Pathways,
floors this week.
technically.
I I still have trip hazards in mine. So
You know
uh,
what? It's fine. AB and Brittany, I know, have been following along with the challenge, and they're both like, too, you know.
Brittany's like, I know at least one house centipede is waiting for me under a rolling cart. Yeah, I have a dead centipede back there that I see every time I walk back there that I just haven't dealt with. And I'm like this spider that I located not that long ago in with my Tula Pink Swiss cheese for my Tula Nova. It's like it looks like it should be on arachnophobia. It's gross. And
I
Adam's
have
gonna
a
have to
sticky
deal with
trap
that.
behind me that just has legs on it. So that's not a positive sign.
No, definitely not. Someone lost a few body parts there. But
It's always
so
this face that comes up when these moments happen. I swear.
it's laughing at us. So catch up. If you haven't caught up, do that. And then Chantel isn't entirely positive if we're gonna do next week or not, and then she's
Mhm.
traveling. So what we'll do, we have email again. So we'll shoot out some emails with some challenges and watch the social media. But what we want you guys to start thinking about doing is coming up with processes for your things that you use. We're talking your fat quarters. How are you going to store slash display them?
You don't have to come up with the answer yet, but start
Yeah,
thinking about what your goal is when you actually have this cleared out.
yeah. And fabric by the yard. How do we want that to look? Do we want it stored away somewhere? Do we want to actually display it as part of our um sewing space like Chantel has hers behind
Yes.
you? And we're going to talk about UFOs. How are we going to organize those so that way we, one, don't lose any parts of them,
Hmm.
and two, are able to get them and keep them relatively dust free when we're not working on them.
Right.
I am going to just
Keep
grab
them relevant.
3 things so that I can show you what I do. And Chantel does a lot of the same things. So
Hmm.
it's very similar. Um, First we'll talk about fat quarters. I'll grab my Tula Pink. Um, this one is
I think I need
not,
another cocktail. I seem to have
let me get
underestimated.
let me get the pinker Tula Pink. This one is more exciting to
Ooh.
look at. So I have a way of folding my fat quarters so that they fit in these acrylic bins. I get these at Target, because they're easy to shop for and get, and they are stackable. So
And
I can,
Target has done a good job of keeping those as their bins so you can
yes.
get them again and again and again.
And this is great for me because one, unless it's on top, you're not getting any dust on it, which is
Hmm.
great. I can fit about 50 fat quarters in one of these, which is fabulous. And
How many?
then 50, about,
50.
I think so. This one
No.
is not all half yards. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. So, okay, maybe 30. Um, I lied. Woo! They're about to all fall out. But anyway,
That would have been bad.
I mean, it probably would have mostly retained its shape. It's been in here a minute. So I separate mine by designer, if I have enough of it, color. I can have a couple of solid bins where I just
Hmm.
have mixed up all the solids that I have. Anything that is half yard or less, I generally put in these. And then they look super cute on the side of my thing.
Yes.
And I also try, because I only have so much space, right? I try to keep my fabric collection to fit within the bins I have space for.
Hmm.
So I'm not going to buy a new fabric collection of fat quarters unless I've cleared out a bin so
I'm
that
not
I
as
have
good
somewhere
about
to
that.
go. Um, I also cleared out a bunch of bins where I was like, I did this about a year ago. I went through it and I was like, I've not touched these fabrics in 10 years.
Right.
I don't think I'm going to touch these fabrics ever. They can live their best life with somebody else. And that's fine with me. You want to grab one of your boards and you can
Oh yeah.
show your fabric boards.
I have some Halloween ones that need to be processed and put up. But so fabric boards, see if I have one that's not on a board.
So
I do
this
not have a
this is just
board.
a comic book board that you wrap fabric around, and they are acid free, which means they're not going to mess up your fabric if you have them on there for a long time. You can get alligator clips online that are meant for garments, which
Yep.
Chantel has there. And then they just clip in place and you're good to go. This is good. You do half yard and above. I
I do
find,
half yard and above. Well, generally I do half yard and above. If I have a whole collection of half yard, I keep it in a bin together because it's part of that collection.
mhm,
So I keep my yardage by color, not
yeah,
necessarily my collection. But if I have a whole collection of half yard, I will keep it in a clear bin like I have over here.
mhm.
I have bigger ones. You can see like down over
Yes,
there.
I see it. Yeah.
Yes.
And you
So
can
those are
get
my
bigger
bigger
bins.
collections.
You can get bigger bins like that at Target too. You can get ones that are like 12-inch
I like
wide.
those because, well, now see, I did most of my bins before Bed Bath and Beyond closed.
Yeah.
And so I had a whole collection of bins that worked together, and they were great for my fabric. It was probably a good thing that Bed Bath and Beyond closed because I was really at my max for what I should have for bins. I bought a
Yeah.
few others and then, moved on. But I use a different size comic book board than you do. I use the silvers, which are a little, I can't remember if they're wider or skinnier, but I have
I'm not
deeper
sure.
shelving. And so I bought the ones that fit my deeper shelving a little better. But these little alligator clips, you can buy big ones too.
Mhm.
They're just like what you like when you go to try on a men's
Like
shirt.
I bought like 1,000 at a time for like under $10 on Amazon. Like
Yes,
this
it's
is
not a
not an
big deal.
expensive thing.
And I bought some big ones for when I have big clips, like when I have big bolts of fabric, because you can put up to 8, 10 yards on some of
I
these.
put backing on mine. I have a whole backing section with 108s on wrapped around
Do
it.
you really?
I do.
I don't do that. I just put mine in a
So
pile in the closet. It's really sad.
it's a little sad. Let's see, where are we at? Where's my backings? I mean, these are not all, some of these are backing. So we have film equipment in the way. These are all like my background section. So they're like four
Hmm.
yard cuts of fabric. And you can see that maybe takes up an inch. This is a backing. So this would be enough for a king
Yes.
size quilt right here. And again, maybe an inch and a half. Um, I've wrapped flannel all around these. I wrap really thick, you know, fur like things on there.
And you do
Um,
yours a little different than mine. I like to have my board hidden. So I fold it so that it matches on the bottom pretty much, so it'll stand up. But then my boards don't stick out at all. So
yeah,
there's different ways to do it.
there's all
Mine's
different ways.
exactly half. So it's
I
already
kind of
folded in
fold
half,
mine
and then I do another in half.
thirds, I think. It kind of depends on what it is though. Like obviously
I'm gonna
some
sneeze.
um like garment fabric is going to
Excuse
be
me.
bigger than quilting fabric. And so that will
Excuse
dictate
me.
how things work.
I
Bless you.
did find a problem with that with the Liberty fabric that we bought.
I had to do that in thirds.
It was a little bit different.
Yeah.
So, but essentially you use it as a bolt. It's a template essentially. You could technically fold all your fabric without having the board in there. When you get to thicker amounts like this one here, doesn't have a board in it. But once I had it with everything else, it wasn't that noticeable.
I
So
find it's easier to get them to stay sticking up if you have
yes, this is
something in
stuff
it.
I pulled out well over a year and a half ago for Hexies and
And
just
maybe
haven't
it needs
dealt
to go
with.
back in. All
Yeah.
right, so now we're going to talk about projects. Chantel does she saves curtain bags to put these in.
Yes.
Plastic bags are just fine. I
Like
know people.
zippered bags or whatever, or they have these very big if you go to your Dollar Tree or whatever, they have these big size Ziploc bags that you can buy like three large Ziploc bags, and they're over by the closet section. Um, and it's $1.25 for three of these big bags, and they do a great job of holding projects.
So that's always an option. I know people used to save like the bags that we would ship things in because they were good
Hmm.
bags. I like to have scrapbook cases. So this is just a scrapbook case. I like to get mine at Michael's because I like them to all be uniform. They go on sale every once in a while. And what I have in here are my pattern. So that way I know where it's at. And all of the blocks that I made to date, any extra fabric I have to go with it, like my background fabric, just in case I screw up and I need more. Um, that way I've got all the things. I have any extra fabrics that were left over. I have, in this case, a lot of almost finished blocks. I thought I had finished all of them, but I have about half that need a thing still to it. And this way, I'm not going to lose like the entire section that goes on all
Hmm.
these, and then I have to try and figure out what
And yours
background
is
was
neat and
this.
tidy. I will say my method is messy at best, um, but it works for me. I have a drawer
Yeah.
that I
I have a
keep my
whole shelf.
projects all kind of filed in to. And usually if something goes into the UFO or the um that sort of pile, let's be honest, I'm not touching that anytime soon. Once it goes into the bag, it's like it's gone into its little coffin
So I
for
really
me.
like this because when I was running the business, I would sew at home and I would sew at the store.
Hmm.
And so it was really easy to keep everything together and transport. And then also, if you're in a situation where you don't have a dedicated sewing space,
Right.
this is a really easy way to pop everything in there, put it away, and then it's all ready for you the next day. Because when I was working at the store, one I and at the home because I didn't have a dedicated sewing space at the home when that was
Hmm.
happening. The store was my dedicated sewing space. Um, and so I needed to be able to put it away because other people were going to use that space. If you're working at a dining room table and you need to have dinner there, tonight, you can
Yeah.
pop everything in your bin, go put it back in your storage area, and then it's all ready to pull out later.
We
Um,
use our UFO and whip differently.
yeah,
A UFO for me is an object I'm not going to get to in the next 3 months.
yeah.
A whip is something that I'm working on right now. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you had to pack things up, and I have a dedicated space I share with nobody.
I still have to pack things up. Even though this is a dedicated space, I also work down here at
Right.
my computer.
I have a project sitting behind me that has sat in its perfect little spot the way that it is for several weeks. I remember showing you guys my
You did.
chain. Yes. And it's still there
Yeah.
because I don't have to pack it away. I can leave it like that. So I can definitely see the benefit to having though, your bins versus having my bags. But my bags are literally like the poor little coffin for my project. Like, you got bagged.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Well, and it also really helps like if you're going on a quilting retreat. Like when we did our first retreat and we were like hanging out together for the first
Yeah.
time in probably like 15 years, I showed up with like three projects like pre-cut or in a state where they were ready to just get put together. And they were
Yes.
all in these bins and at least two of them had been in production for like a decade. And all the pieces were there for
They were
all
all
of
there.
them. I had not lost them because of this process.
The funny thing about my situation is that I have this big studio. But do I have room for the UFO bins? No, because I have too much fabric.
That
So
was the
I
one
put the
thing I was really
UFOs
good
into
about.
baggies.
I was really good about that. Like, because I had to finish projects for work, I finished the projects. And I didn't accumulate too
Well, you
much.
recognize this one immediately, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, that's the project that I've offered to help you
That's
rip
this
apart
is
and fix.
I have ripped a lot of it apart.
But but like obviously I accumulated a lot of Tula Pink, and that was because Tula Pink would sell out
I'll take it
immediately.
for you.
So I'm not parting with it. Someday it'll
Dang it.
have come around again. Um,
Well, put it in your will,
so
sweetheart.
okay, you can have it if I die first. I am a whole 10, 11 months older than you. It might
I
happen.
know it
But
might be a long time.
but like I just didn't get to use it because it would sell out before I had to do something with it to make it move.
I buy it
And
out.
so I really just haven't accumulated that much um
But look
of things.
behind you. Look what you've accumulated,
Well,
right?
yes, I have
Finished
finished things.
projects.
Lots and lots of finished projects. And this isn't even all of it. Like I've gotten rid of many things. Whenever we had like a duplicate quilt that we remade, that we would have like a Christmas party where all the samples would
Yeah.
get like divvied out
This
from
is
the year.
this is proof that we can both be considered successful quilters. Yet, how many finished projects, truly finished projects, do I have versus you? Probably less than 1 in 10.
Well, it was my job.
But look at how much we've accomplished and learned and gotten to this
Yeah.
point. It's just like it is in my DNA to not finish something, but to enjoy the process of it nonetheless.
Yeah.
You can
Oh, I
still be a
still enjoy the
quilter and
process.
not have a whole bunch of quilts to your name.
This has been because it didn't need to happen for work, at least a 2-year project, maybe almost three now, probably three this summer.
How long is your New York Beauty?
A long time, more than a decade.
And it's like done,
It
but
is.
it's
I just
not
need to
done.
quilt it. So
I
I
mean, I
have
have a lot
had
of it needs to be quilted projects, like
I've
10,
had a
12.
quilt on the long arm for well over a year that just needs to be quilted. It's loaded and everything. And it was in that phase where I couldn't bring myself to actually quilt. And
Hmm.
I'm past that now, but I haven't had the time to just like do it.
You're
And
like, today
so
is the day I'm going to do it. It hasn't
no,
come
it's
yet.
not. That has not. I've had other things that I wanted to do instead of that one. At some point, I'm going to have to do it because I will, with this fabric collection, I will have to make quilts.
Hmm.
And unless I'm going to have them quilted, which is a possibility, um,
You have a
I'm going
great
to need to do
quilter.
it. I do. Shelley's amazing. Um, and she always fits me in. But I need to edit that video. I had her over. We did a video on how
Oh,
she
yeah.
chooses or fabrics or designs that complement the quilt, complement the
Hmm.
fabric, and then how she sizes it and positions it so that way it looks custom, even though it's an edge to edge.
It's scale.
Yeah, and
It's a lot of things.
we went through everything in my latest book. And we talked through not just her quilting decisions, but the ones that I made for the ones that I did.
Hmm.
And
That's really
it was a
cool.
fun chat. I need to actually just edit that video because it's filmed, it's ready to go. I need to
Ugh,
do it.
that'll be
But
a good one.
that'll be a good one. I need to get around to that. I have too many irons in the fire is the problem right now.
You have a lot of plastic bags sitting in containers over there,
In my
you know.
mind. Yes.
And your mind is organized like this,
I
but
no,
your
I have a
actual
to-do list.
projects,
I have a to-do
yeah,
list
those ones
every
are in
week
these bins.
and I pop them out and
And then you have the things that are these ones.
I know.
I should be offended by what I'm saying because this is clearly the method I have chosen, and
Clearly.
I defend this method. It works for me
Well, and
because
that's the
if it
thing.
gets put in a bag, then by golly, it better hope that it sees the light of day again.
The biggest thing is that you want something that is going to keep all your pieces and your pattern together.
And Essentially, this one I have a certain amount of angst against.
She
I
bought cheap fabric, even though I told her don't buy cheap fabric, but her husband
I
wasn't
was
making the
learning.
doctor money
I
yet.
learned.
And so, yeah, she
Oh,
paired,
the Tula is amazing,
yeah,
but my black fabric
you could
is
see through.
like,
Like if you wore it on a runway, you would have
yes, that's what I was just
it would
thinking. It
be a
was like your white
problem.
bra shows right through.
I was thinking something spicier than that, but
That's
still.
fine.
Oh, goodness.
It's rough.
It is.
I
So those are
learned
the
my
things
lesson.
we want you to start thinking about. How do you want it? Do you want it to be, because for a long time I kept all my stuff in a drawer, and that's fine too.
People
Um,
file their fabrics.
yeah,
Some people choose to not keep a stash. That's pretty cool. They buy what they need when they want it.
I am kind of that way with knitting. I have a yarn stash, but for the most part, I don't buy yarn unless I have a specific project in mind for it.
Right.
Mostly because you need a specific amount of that exact dye lot in order for it to
Hmm.
look decent.
Unless it's sock yarn, she doesn't do it.
I have a sock yarn problem. Um, I'm
That's
thinking
okay.
I need to bring back Stephanie knitting socks again because I used to write a lot while I was at Lily's dance because this is like the one thing I have to sit around for. And now it has turned into social hour and I can't focus enough to do anything resembling work. Like not one
That's
bit.
fine.
And so I'm like, I need something because I can't just sit there. Like it's not in me. And there isn't like a place where I can like set things down so I can like bring EPP. Like I can't have a little
Mhm.
like,
Oh, I don't need
area.
anything to sit down at this point. I just have my
I
little
do.
baggie. Where is it? It's over there. I just have my
Yeah.
little bag and I work out of my little bag. I'm like
I I'm not that skilled yet. And
a little
so,
troll that like works out of my little bag.
but something where like I just don't have to think. Like there's parts of a sock where you have to think. If you're turning a heel,
Oh, I would be
you
afraid.
you need a good 2 hours where you're just focusing on what you're doing. Um, but the majority of the sock, it's just
It's going around and
around
around.
and around and around. Unless you're doing some kind of a pattern. But honestly, like just give me stockinette and let me look at the pattern of the yarn. That's fine. So
I can't. I can't
Brittany
knit.
says, heaven forbid you pass. Your project will be planned out if someone wants to finish. I actually got an email from somebody who purchased one of our kits at a quilter's estate sale, and the pattern was no longer with it. And I was like, there was always a tab on the bottom that said what it was.
Yes,
And
I'm invested in this story.
so
This
it
is
had
good.
been somewhat torn off, but I could see enough of it to where I knew what it was. And I was able to send them right to the link and say, this is the pattern you need. And they were able to buy it. And because that person had kept everything in the bag and it had the name on it, that person was able to then go make the project. And so it lived on after them and their family got some money out of it to help settle the estate or
I
whatever.
mean, all my stuff from Stephanie is still labeled, in case you're
Yeah.
worried, Brittany.
My aunt once told me that if anything happened to her, I get her stash. And I'm like, I would rather have you, but I know her stash is amazing.
But I know your stash is amazing.
Ah, because she bought most of it for me. And the other half is
It's good
Kate's. And
stuff.
so, like, that's where she's at. She used to be all about the Civil War, all about it. And then she had breast cancer. And when that was done, she's like, I'm done with that. I need everything bright and fun. And
Yeah,
so
that's
she
funny.
loved coming to Quilt Market with me. She would drive down with me so that I would have someone to drive with. And then when you're at Quilt Market, which is no more, but they would have sample
No more
screens
as of this year.
and you would get to buy things that were not out yet. The idea of it was that you would buy it knowing that it's coming out, and then you can make the project for your store, the sample. And then when the fabric arrives, you already have it ready to go. You put that on your shelf, you can start
Right.
selling immediately. So that's the concept behind it. That's not how it usually went. People would just
No.
go nuts. They're like, I want it now. But she got everything at wholesale. She thought it was the best thing ever. She was so excited.
I
She
want to go. And now
and
it's no more.
it
It's just
isn't. But
sad.
hey, H&H
But
is filling the hole. So we'll see.
yes. And that's in Chicago.
And we're going.
We are going.
We're going. We're gonna meet with people.
We're going to do things.
We get to meet an owner of a major fabric company. Yay!
We'll have
I
tea.
mean, I've met owners of major fabric companies before, but this is
Yeah,
it's still
I
very
will.
exciting. So,
I'm going to Disney World, but in
yay!
fabric.
Yeah, pretty much. And yarn.
And yarn.
It'll smell a little bit like a wet sheep when you go in there because all the
Oh,
yarn
well, we
has
have a
like
family
just
farm of
been
wet
dyed.
sheep, so it's going to feel like home.
There you go. H&H is I don't know if it's newer, but they have been growing and expanding
Hmm.
into the quilting market within the last 4 or 5 years or so. Um,
It has a combined trade show situation where it's more for the businesses. And then this year they're opening up a portion that is like a quilt type.
yeah,
I wouldn't say it's a quilt show. It's a quilt
it's more like a
consumer
vendor fair
vendor
situation.
fair. Yeah.
Um, it's kind of trying to fill the hole of what Quilt Inc. used to do with Quilt Market. And Quilt Market, a long time ago, used to be a twice a year thing. Fall was always in Houston, spring bounced around the country. The idea being that it was more economical for certain shops to go to certain regions. So if you couldn't afford to go because it's expensive, um,
Hmm.
twice a year to market, then that's fine. You could maybe go once a year or once every other year or something like that, whatever was
Right.
economical for you. And so,
So
um,
H&H is kind of that spring market
yeah, I
essentially
think it was
that
like 3 years
has
ago.
rebirthed itself.
It was like 3 years ago that they first did the one, I think that included fabric, because I know we got in for free, just because they were trying to get as
Right.
many quilt shops there as possible. And so it's a combination of different crafts. So there's quilting, there's garments, there's yarn, there's cross stitch.
It's
Like
very much a crossover
it's a
situation.
fiber, if it's a fiber situation, they have that. So and it was originally meant for wholesale. So like a quilt shop owner would go there and they would order for the next 6 months of their fabric and meet
Hmm.
with their fabric rep. Or a pattern designer like me could get a booth and then market my patterns to quilt shops to stock
Right.
in their stores. Um, so that is kind of how that works. But they also, because of the yarn situation, and this is yarn that is way better than what you would get at a big box store. Like
Right.
hands down,
It's your
actual
quilt
natural
shop
fibers. Yeah,
quality
yeah,
equivalent.
yeah. And so when you walk in, a lot of this stuff has been freshly dyed, and there is a distinctive smell to freshly dyed wool that I love. It's like walking into a used bookstore, like the
Oh
smell
yeah, like a
when you get
library.
in there and you're just like, "Ooh, I like it." But you walk in and you know that this is freshly dyed yarn and there's a lot of it. And it's kind of it's fun for me. It's like I don't know.
I'm not a yarn person, thank goodness, because I just couldn't do
You can't do
another.
another thing.
No, I
But
couldn't. But that doesn't mean it wouldn't be totally fun. And so they're kind of splitting it into two. I think one weekend they're doing more the consumer, and one weekend they're doing more of the business
and
corporate
honestly,
side.
that makes more sense because when Houston did market and then I did this once where we
Mhm.
vended at Quilt Market and then we stayed and vended at
Kind of the consumer
Festival.
market.
It
Yeah.
is a 2 week commitment. That's 2 weeks away from your shop. That's 2 weeks where you don't get to do your day-to-day stuff. That's 2 weeks of hotel, 2 weeks of restaurant food. You have to make a lot of money in order to justify that stuff. A whole lot. Um, and that's hard. And there are shops like where they'll make $50,000 at Quilt Market. or at Quilt Festival. And then there's me who made 10 grand and kind of covered your costs. It's like,
Right.
you know,
But was the notoriety worth it? I don't know. That's something you weigh out.
one time I did the math, and it was the one time I did a booth at Quilt Market. And I was really early on in my pattern design career, so it was good to like get the exposure. But I already had agreements and projects lined up with several major fabric manufacturers, and I got $5,000 worth of orders out of Quilt Market. I would have gotten those $5,000 worth of orders if I didn't have a booth. So was it
Mm.
worth it? Probably not in that case. If you can like lob on to other
If you
people,
can math it out
you
and not
know.
take the emotional part into it, that you
Oh,
got to
I was
be right.
always like that. I was like, is this actually making ROI or do we cut it? Um, AB is wondering if you're going to QuiltCon.
I am.
Chantel is, I am not. I got,
You are maybe.
no, I'm
I
definitely not.
refuse to believe that she's not.
I got my royalty statement today for the books, and apparently, the company has been footing the bill for advertising for several years and not taking it out of our royalty statement. So they decided
Oh,
to do it all at once with this royalty statement. So it would have been a very nice paycheck, and instead it's going to buy me a case of books to restock. And so
oh,
I'm like, that's fabulous. Oh well.
oh, womp womp.
All right. It is almost 11. I have got to be up and early tomorrow.
Yes.
But you guys have got your marching orders. Catch up and then start thinking about what you want to do for your long-term storage slash display of your fabric stash and your UFOs. So
And if
start
you're
thinking about
feeling
that.
really, really up to it, tackle a drawer, take it slow, get things put away the best you can.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more fabric storage and things like that when we